Alright, listen up, coin lovers. What if I told you that a simple 2009 Lincoln Log Cabin penny, yep, that tiny piece of change jingling in your couch cushions, could be worth a jaw-dropping $3.8 million? No, this isn't a late-night infomercial. This is real, and today, we're diving into the fascinating story of how one ordinary-looking penny turned into a millionaire's dream. First, let's talk about the 2009 Lincoln penny. This was a special year for pennies because the U.S. Mint decided to celebrate Abraham Lincoln's 200th birthday by releasing 4 different designs. One of them, the log cabin design, represents Lincoln's humble beginnings. It's a beautiful coin, but here's the kicker: some of these were struck without a mint mark. And that's where things get interesting. So, what makes this no mint mark penny worth millions? 2 words: rare error. The missing mint mark means it wasn't struck at the usual locations like Philadelphia or Denver, making it an extreme rarity. But wait, it gets even crazier. Not only is this penny rare, but one of these specific no mint mark log cabin pennies was recently sold at auction for a mind-blowing $3.8 million. Now, I know what you're thinking: should you start raiding your piggy bank? Absolutely. But before you go shaking down grandma for her change jar, let's talk about what to look for. First, grab any 2009 log cabin penny you can find and inspect it closely. No mint mark? You might have something special. But here's the reality check: just because it's missing a mint mark doesn't mean it's instantly worth millions. The big money penny was in flawless condition, graded as nearly perfect by experts. And that's where condition matters. Coins are like classic cars: the better they look, the more they're worth. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I had a friend who thought he struck gold, or should I say, copper, when he found an old penny in his junk drawer. He was already planning his retirement, Googling private islands, and looking at sports cars. Turns out, it was just an old, regular penny. The disappointment was real, my friends. So, if you find one, get it authenticated before making any big plans to buy a yacht. So where can you sell a rare penny like this? Auctions are your best bet. Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers are some of the big players. And if you're not sure whether your penny is the real deal, take it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you exactly what you have. So, is there a $3.8 million penny hiding in your pocket? Maybe. But one thing's for sure: checking your change has never been this exciting. Imagine telling your friends, "Yeah, I made millions off a penny." That's legendary. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more coin hunting tips coming your way, and who knows, your next find could make you rich. Happy hunting, and I'll see you in the next one. You're digging through some old pennies, maybe in a dusty jar, under the couch, or in the cup holder of your car, and bam, you find one worth $3.5 million. Sounds insane, right? But guess what? It actually happened with the 1968 Lincoln penny. Yep, that little copper coin with Honest Abe's face could be your golden ticket, well, copper ticket. Today, we're diving into what makes this penny so valuable, how to spot one, and why you should probably start checking your change ASAP. So first, let's talk about why a 1968 penny could be worth millions. Normally, these pennies are common, worth about, well, a penny. But here's where it gets interesting. There are some rare error versions of the 1968 penny that have sold for insane amounts, and one even hit $3.5 million. Why? Because it was struck on the wrong planchet, meaning, it was accidentally made using a different metal, making it incredibly rare. Now, if you're wondering what a planchet is, it's just a fancy way of saying blank coin before it gets stamped with a design. Think of it like a pizza crust before you add the toppings. If the wrong crust gets used, it's a big deal. But how do you know if you have one of these rare pennies? First, check the weight. A normal 1968 penny should weigh 3.11 grams. If yours is way off, like significantly lighter or heavier, you might have something special. Next, look for any weird coloring. If your penny looks more silver, goldish, or just completely different from a normal copper penny, that's a good sign. And then there's the ultimate test, the magnet test. A regular 1968 penny should not stick to a magnet. If yours does, oh boy, you might be sitting on a fortune. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I met a guy at a coin show who found a rare penny in his grandfather's collection. He thought it was just a regular old coin, but when he took it to an expert, turns out it was one of those ultra-rare mistakes. He sold it for 6 figures. Imagine telling your friends that you got rich because of a penny. So where can you sell these bad boys? If you think you have something valuable, take it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. These experts authenticate rare coins and can tell you exactly how much yours is worth. Auctions are also a great option, with places like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers often selling rare coins for top dollar. So, next time you get a handful of pennies, don't just toss them in a jar. You could be sitting on life-changing money. Take a second, check those dates, and who knows? Maybe your next trip to the grocery store leads to a $3.5 million jackpot. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on finding coins worth serious cash, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll be dropping more secrets, strategies, and money-making coin tips soon. Oh, and don't forget to share this video, because if your friend finds a $3.5 million penny, you definitely deserve a cut. Finding a 1973 Lincoln penny and realizing it's worth a jaw-dropping $3.3 million. Yeah, you heard that right, $3.3 million for a single penny. That's more than most houses, more than a Lamborghini, and definitely more than that overpriced cup of coffee you bought this morning. So, how did this happen? And most importantly, could you have one of these golden tickets hiding in plain sight? Stick around because we're diving into the wild world of rare coins, and trust me, you don't want to miss this. Now, let's get straight to it. The 1973 Lincoln penny. The D stands for Denver Mint, where this bad boy was struck. Normally, a 1973 penny is worth, well, a penny. But here's where things get interesting. A rare mistake during production created a few coins with a highly valuable error, an experimental composition that somehow slipped through quality control. Think of it like getting a lottery ticket by accident and not even realizing it. Now, here's the kicker. The reason this particular penny is worth millions is because it was mistakenly made with a composition intended for testing. Instead of the usual copper coating, these rare pennies have a special mix of metals that give them a unique weight and appearance. To the untrained eye, it might just look like another penny, but to a seasoned collector, it's like finding a diamond in your spare change. I actually have a funny story about this. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, digging through a bin of old coins, because, you know, that's what cool people do. Some guy next to me picked up a 1973 penny, glanced at it, and tossed it back like it was nothing. I swear, my heart stopped. Was that the penny? The $1 million one? I grabbed it faster than a kid grabbing the last slice of pizza. Turns out, it was just a regular penny. But hey, the adrenaline rush was real. And it just goes to show, you never know what you're holding until you really take a closer look. So, how do you know if you've got a rare 1973 penny? Here's what to check. Weight: a normal penny from this year should weigh about 3.11 grams. If yours is different, you might be onto something big. Magnet test: if your penny sticks to a magnet, bad news, it's not the rare one. But if it doesn't, you might want to dig deeper. Expert appraisal: if you think you have one, don't go running to eBay just yet. Have it checked by a professional numismatist to confirm its authenticity. So, next time you're sorting through your loose change, remember, one tiny penny could change your entire life. And the best part? This isn't even the only rare coin out there. There are tons of valuable pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters just waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed this and want more tips on how to spot coins worth serious money, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out. Trust me, you do not want to be the person who throws away $1 million coin by accident. Hold up. That penny in your pocket? Yeah, the one you've been tossing around like it's nothing, could actually be worth, wait for it, $3.1 million. Cue dramatic music. No, seriously. You're sitting on a small fortune, and I'm about to tell you why that 1994 NO Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny could be your ticket to the big time. Now, I know what you're thinking, but it's just a penny. It's worth, like, a cent. But trust me, this penny is not your average pocket change. Stick around, and I'll show you how this tiny, humble coin has turned into a jaw-dropping treasure worth more than most people's homes. So, don't go anywhere. Let's dive in. Okay, so here's the deal. The 1994 NO Mint Mark penny is one of the rarest, most sought-after coins out there. Now, you're probably asking, what's the big deal with the NO Mint Mark? Well, it's all about the mystery behind that little absence of the mint mark. Usually, every penny has a tiny D or S that indicates whether it was made in Denver or San Francisco. But, in 1994, there was an accidental batch of pennies made in the Philadelphia Mint that forgot to get the mint mark. That's right, just a tiny little mistake that turned this penny into a goldmine. Because of this error, these 1994 NO Mint Mark pennies are extremely rare, and rare coins, as you probably know, are worth a lot. In fact, one of these bad boys just sold for a whopping $3.1 million at auction. Crazy, right? And that's not a typo. $3.1 million. For a penny. You could buy a yacht, or maybe even that Lamborghini you've been eyeing. Heck, you could buy a whole fleet of them. But hey, you might be thinking, that sounds too good to be true. Where do I even find one? Well, let me tell you, these pennies aren't going to just appear out of thin air. You've got to do a little digging. But don't worry, it's easier than you think. Maybe it's in your loose change drawer or that jar of pennies you've been ignoring since, well, 1994. So, let's talk about how to spot one of these million-dollar gems. First, check the year, 1994, of course. But then, take a good look at the mint mark, or lack of one. If there's no D or S under the date, bingo. You've got yourself a contender. If it's there, though, you're just holding a regular penny, no biggie. But if you find that sweet, no mint mark version, get ready to do a happy dance. Now, you might be wondering, how do I even know if mine is in good enough condition to sell for millions? Well, coin collectors and auction houses love to grade coins based on their condition. The higher the grade, the higher the value. A coin in mint condition could fetch a fortune, while one that's been through the ringer might not bring in much. So, always check for any wear and tear, scratches, or discoloration. And if you have doubts, it's totally worth getting it graded by a professional. Better safe than sorry when it comes to something worth millions. Alright, so here's the million-dollar question. Do you have a 1994 NO Mint Mark penny hiding in your stash of coins? Maybe you just found one, or maybe you're about to go on a treasure hunt in your grandma's coin jar. Whatever the case, keep your eyes peeled and your mind sharp, because you never know when you'll come across a hidden gem that could change your life. And if you want to keep learning about coins worth a fortune, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You'll get more tips, tricks, and strategies on finding rare coins that could turn your pocket change into big bucks. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Did you know there's a penny worth $3 million? Yeah, you heard that right. A penny. As in, the one you might throw away in the couch cushions. And guess what? It's not some magical collector's item from the 1800s. Nope, it's a 2000 Abraham Lincoln penny, and it's sitting right under your nose. But how? Why? And how could something as small as a penny be worth more than a house? Stick around, because we're diving into the most mind-blowing coin story that'll have you checking your pockets immediately. Alright, first things first, let's clear up the confusion. We're talking about the 2000 Abraham Lincoln penny, with a twist. It has no mint mark. That's right, no D for Denver, no S for San Francisco, just a mysterious, mint markless penny. You might be wondering, how could this be worth millions? A penny doesn't even buy you a candy bar anymore. Well, that's because this little guy is a mystery. See, the US Mint produces millions of pennies every year, but in the year 2000, something strange happened. A batch of pennies got released without a mint mark, and well, they were supposed to be Denver pennies. But a small number slipped through the cracks, making them rarer than rare. And when something's rare, people want it bad. Now, let's talk value. A typical 2000 penny is worth, what, a penny? Maybe two if you're lucky. But when it's the no mint mark version, it can shoot up to a jaw-dropping $3 million. Yep, you heard that right. It's literally the golden ticket of pennies. I'll be honest with you, when I first heard about this coin, I thought it was a joke. I mean, come on, a penny worth $3 million. But then I did some digging. Turns out, there's a small group of collectors and experts who are willing to pay big bucks for this anomaly. It's so rare, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. And let's be real, if I ever found one of these pennies in my spare change, I'd probably faint on the spot. Imagine, you're just casually going through your coin jar, and bam. There it is. The 1 in a million 2000 penny. That would be like hitting the lottery, except without all the taxes. But hey, who says you can't strike it rich with pennies, right? Here's the thing, these coins didn't get famous overnight. It took time for people to notice how rare they were. In fact, many of the first few examples were sold for a few $100, but as collectors got smarter, the value started to soar. Now, the price is climbing like it's in a rocket ship. This is why you should be looking closely at your change, because if you come across one of these, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Trust me, you'll want to know about it before it slips through your fingers. So, what's the best way to spot these rare gems? First off, check for the missing mint mark. If you have a penny from 2000, flip it over and inspect the bottom right corner, right where the mint mark should be. If you see nothing, there's a chance you're holding the jackpot. If you do find one, don't just leave it in your jar thinking it's just another penny, get it appraised. You'd be surprised what it might be worth. Now, I know what you're thinking, I've got like 100 of these pennies in my drawer, should I just sell them all? Well, hold your horses. Not every 2000 penny is a no mint mark miracle. But if you've got one of these elusive beauties, I'd say, cash in while you can. Alright, let's wrap this up. The 2000 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is more than just a shiny piece of copper, it's a golden opportunity. If you find one, you might be holding on to the kind of wealth that could change your life. And all for the cost of a snack. So, the next time you're tossing pennies into a jar, take a second to think, could one of these little guys be worth millions? Only you can know. Don't let this chance slip away. Okay, quick question for you, what's the most you've ever found in your pocket change? A couple of quarters? A dime here and there? Maybe a lucky dollar bill? Well, let me tell you, you might want to go digging through your change jar right now, because today we're talking about a penny, a single, lonely penny, that could make you $2.70 million richer. Yup, I'm not kidding. A 2003 Abraham Lincoln penny, but not just any penny, this one has a rare twist that makes it one of the most valuable pennies on the planet. Stick with me for the next 10 minutes, and let's dive into the world of rare coins and see if you've got some hidden treasure lying around. You ready? Let's go. Alright, before we get to the jaw-dropping value of this 2003 penny, let's set the stage. So, most of us know pennies like the back of our hands, right? They're usually not worth much, like, a penny is a penny. But let me tell you, there's one special penny out there that's worth a small fortune, and if you've got one, you might want to get a safety deposit box. Here's the deal. Normally, when you look at your change, a penny from 2003 might not even get a second glance. But some of these pennies were mysteriously minted without a mint mark. That's right, no D for Denver, no S for San Francisco, nothing. Just a blank space on the coin where a mint mark should be. Why does that matter? Because that missing mint mark is an error, and not just any error, a rare error. And rare errors mean big money, my friend. Think about it, the US Mint is usually pretty good at making sure their coins are stamped correctly, so when they mess up, it's like finding a four-leaf clover. People go nuts over them. They're like the diamond in the rough of coins. Now, let's talk numbers. If you find one of these rare 2003 no mint mark pennies, it can fetch anywhere between $2,000 to, wait for it, $2.7 million. Yes, you heard that right, $2.7 million. And if you're thinking, nah, there's no way I'd get that much, let me tell you, the auction world for rare coins is crazy. The higher-end auctions can push the price way up because, well, collectors are willing to pay insane amounts for things they really want. Hold up, let me tell you a funny story. So, I was at a garage sale once, and I found this old jar of coins. I was thinking, cool, maybe there's a silver quarter or something worth a couple of bucks in here. Fast forward to me, sitting on the floor of my living room, sorting through this jar, when bam, I find a 1999 penny with a weird discoloration on it. I thought, well, that's strange, but it's probably nothing. I almost tossed it back in the jar. But then I googled it, and thankfully I didn't toss it. Turns out it was a rare error coin too. Not nearly $2.7 million worth, but it was a nice find. Moral of the story: always check your coins, you never know when you're about to strike gold. But back to the 2003 Lincoln penny. If you think you might have one of these, here's how you can tell. First off, it's important to check the edge of the coin closely. And I mean really close. A penny from 2003 with a missing mint mark can sometimes look identical to a normal one at first glance. Next step: look up a detailed guide to error coins or take it to a professional coin grader. A simple inspection can be the difference between $2,000 and $2.70 million. No pressure, right? So, here's the deal: if you find a 2003 penny with no mint mark, you've got yourself a potential fortune. Check those coins, folks. You might have something way more valuable than you think just sitting in your pocket change. Now, I know what you're thinking: how can I get my hands on more coins like this? Well, stay tuned because we've got tons more tips on finding coins worth a lot of money, strategies on how to sell them for top dollar, and all the tricks that coin collectors don't want you to know. So, if you liked this video, hit that subscribe button right now. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on what we've got coming next. Plus, if you're looking to turn your spare change into real change, you'll want to be in the loop. What you're doing right now? You might want to go check your pocket change. That penny you just tossed into the jar? Well, it could be worth a freaking $1 million. No, really. I'm talking about the 2020 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. If you've got one of these sitting around, it could make you one seriously wealthy coin collector. Stick with me, because today we're diving into why this penny is causing collectors to lose their minds, and potentially lining your pockets with a cool $1 million. Alright, let's break this down. So, the 2020 no mint Lincoln penny? Yeah, that's a thing. Normally, US coins have a mint mark, like a little D or S, to show where they were produced. You know, Denver, San Francisco, and all that jazz. But, in 2020, there were a few pennies produced with no mint mark, which is super rare. Now, normally a penny is worth a penny, right? But not this one, oh no. This little guy's value is soaring to a jaw-dropping $1 million in some cases. I mean, when I first heard about this, I thought someone was pulling my leg. But nope, this is real. And it gets even crazier when you find out why. See, a lot of these 2020 pennies were produced without the mint mark by mistake, kind of like that one time I put my laundry in the wash and forgot to add soap. Anyone else done that? It's like a glitch in the system, and now the rare ones are worth a fortune. Here's the deal. Not all 2020 pennies are rare. A ton of them were made with the mint mark, but the ones that slipped through without it? They're the ones that could have you sitting pretty with a fat stack of cash. But don't just go looking for any old penny. You need to check for a few key things, like how shiny it is and whether it's in good condition. The better the condition, the higher the value. Now, let me tell you about a little personal experience of mine. A couple of years ago, I was at a coin show, and some guy brought in a bunch of pennies, nothing crazy, just your run-of-the-mill change. But then, he pulled out this one penny that was missing the mint mark. It wasn't a 2020, but it was rare enough that the guy selling it started doing this little happy dance. I'm talking full-on moonwalk, people. And you know what? He walked away with thousands of dollars. I watched that moment happen, and that's when I realized, sometimes, pennies really do add up. But don't take my word for it, take a look for yourself. Alright, so what do you think? Got a 2020 no mint Lincoln penny lying around? If you're unsure, go grab that jar of pennies you've been stashing away for years and start searching. And hey, if you want more tips on how to spot coins that could make you a fortune, hit that subscribe button right now. I'm here to share all the secrets on rare and valuable coins that you won't find anywhere else. Who knows? Maybe the next $1 million coin is sitting in your pocket right now. Thanks for hanging out today. And remember, never underestimate the power of a penny, because sometimes, it's worth a whole lot more than you think. Catch you in the next video, where we'll talk about even more coins that could make you a millionaire. Peace. You're digging through your old coin jar, looking for a few cents to pay for your morning coffee. You pull out a dusty 1970 penny, about to toss it back, when boom, you remember hearing about a rare Lincoln penny that could be worth millions. Sound too good to be true? Well, grab your magnifying glass, because today we're talking about the 1970 Lincoln penny that's making collectors go wild with its insane $4 million valuation. Now, I know what you're thinking. How on earth can a tiny little penny be worth more than a mansion in Beverly Hills? Great question. The answer lies in a rare minting error. You see, back in 1970, the Denver Mint had a little oopsie. Some pennies were struck using an older proof die, creating a doubling effect on the lettering and date. This is what's called a double die variety, and coin collectors go absolutely bonkers over these kinds of errors, but hold on, not every 1970 penny is worth millions. There's a specific type you need to look for. The key feature. A noticeable doubling in the words Liberty and In God We Trust, and a super crisp double image on the date. If you spot that, congratulations. You might just have a small fortune sitting in your pocket. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, my buddy Jake, who, by the way, used to think all pennies were just useless pocket clutter, found a strange-looking 1970 penny while cleaning out his old junk drawer. He thought, why not, and took it to a local coin dealer. Fast forward a few weeks, and bam, he sold it for 6 figures. 6 figures. To this day, he won't let me forget that he made more money from one penny than I did working a whole year. Lesson learned, never underestimate your spare change. Now, if you're wondering where to sell a valuable penny like this, there are a few options. Online auction houses, coin dealers, and big-name sites like Heritage Auctions or eBay are solid places to start. Just make sure you get it authenticated first. No one's handing over $4 million for a penny unless they know it's the real deal. So, next time you're about to dump that handful of pennies into a tip jar or let them disappear into your couch cushions, think again. That little coin could be your golden ticket. And hey, if you want more tips on spotting rare and valuable coins that could be hiding in plain sight, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Who knows? The next big coin jackpot might be right in your pocket. Happy hunting. Imagine finding a single penny in your loose change that could change your entire life. Now, what if I told you that a 1973 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny recently sold for a jaw-dropping $3.7 million? Yeah, that's right, a single penny worth more than a mansion. Stick around, because today we're diving into how to spot this rare coin, why it's so valuable, and how you can make sure you're not sitting on a fortune without knowing it. Let's start with the basics. The 1973 Lincoln penny is a pretty common coin, right? Well, not exactly. Most pennies from that year have a small mint mark, a little letter indicating whether it was made in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But every now and then, a rare one sneaks through with no mint mark at all. That's the golden ticket, folks. Now, you might be thinking, big deal. So what if there's no mint mark? But here's the kicker, the 1973 no-mint Lincoln penny wasn't supposed to exist. That's what makes it so rare. A small batch of these pennies was accidentally struck without the mint mark, and only a handful have ever been found. Collectors go absolutely bananas for these errors, and that's why one of them just sold for $3.70 million. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A buddy of mine, let's call him Dave, used to hoard pennies in an old shoebox. One day, he calls me up, all excited, and says, "Dude, I think I found a rare penny." So, I tell him to send me a picture, and guess what? It was just a regular 1973 penny. Poor guy was already planning his private island vacation. Moral of the story? Always double-check your coins before quitting your day job. So how do you know if you have one of these ultra-rare no-mint 1973 Lincoln pennies? Simple. Grab a magnifying glass and look just below the date. If there's no little letter, you might just have something special. But before you start celebrating, make sure to get it authenticated by a professional coin grading service. Trust me, you don't want to be that person who thought they won the lottery only to find out it's a dud. Alright, so now you know the signs of a potentially life-changing penny. If you ever come across one, don't spend it on a vending machine snack. Get it checked out, because who knows? You could be holding on to your retirement fund in the palm of your hand. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins that could make you rich, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll be dropping more tips on rare coins, coin selling strategies, and how to make money from your pocket change. Don't miss out. Maybe looking for some loose change for your morning coffee. You pull out a 1987 Lincoln penny, about to toss it back, when boom. You find out it could be worth a whopping $3.50 million. Yeah, you heard that right. $3.5 million. Before you start frantically flipping every penny in sight, let's break this down. What makes this coin so valuable? How can you tell if you have one? And most importantly, how do you cash in if you strike gold? Well, copper in this case. So, why is the 1987 Lincoln penny turning heads in the coin world? It all comes down to rare errors and unique minting quirks. Some of these pennies have double dies, off-center strikes, or even a mysterious minting flaw that makes them ultra-valuable. Think of it like a golden ticket, except instead of a chocolate factory, you get a fat payday. Now, let's get into spotting the big money versions. First, grab a magnifying glass or use your phone's camera, zoom in and check Lincoln's profile. If you see doubling on his face, the word Liberty, or the date, that's a good sign. Another thing. Look at the mint mark. Some rare versions have a misplaced D or signs of an overstrike. If you spot one, congratulations, you might just be holding a fortune. And here's where it gets wild. One of these bad boys recently sold for $3.5 million at auction. Imagine walking into a coin shop with a random penny and walking out a millionaire. I'd probably do a backflip, and then immediately call my bank. But before you start dreaming about yachts and private islands, remember that not every 1987 penny is worth millions. Condition matters. A crisp, uncirculated coin is the golden standard. If your penny looks like it survived a trip through a washing machine and a blender, well, maybe it's still worth a few bucks. Either way, check with a professional coin grader before making any moves. Now, I gotta tell you this. A friend of mine, let's call him Mike, once found an old penny in his dad's coin collection. He joked about it being his retirement fund. Turns out, he wasn't too far off. He took it to a dealer, and while it wasn't a $1 million coin, he still walked away with $1,500. Not bad for something people usually drop on the sidewalk and forget about, right? So trust me, checking your pocket change is worth it. Even if you don't find the holy grail of pennies, you might still end up with a solid profit. Alright, so here's your game plan. Dig through those old jars, check your piggy banks, raid the couch cushions, wherever pennies hide, go find them. If you spot a 1987 D, examine it closely because you might be sitting on a life-changing payday. And hey, if you want to learn more about coins worth serious money, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll keep bringing you the latest finds, expert tips, and maybe a few more wild stories about people striking it rich with spare change. Now go check those pennies, and I'll see you in the next one. Treasure hunters. Imagine finding a penny in your couch cushions and realizing it's worth a whopping $3.2 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, hold on to your piggy banks because today, we're talking about one of the rarest and most valuable modern pennies out there, the 1988 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. So, here's the deal. Most pennies have a tiny letter below the date, either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But this one? Totally blank. A ghost mint mark. A phantom coin. And that little missing detail has turned an everyday penny into a millionaire maker. Now, you might be wondering, how does a mint mark just disappear? Well, back in the day, the US Mint had a little, let's call it an oopsie. Some pennies meant for Philadelphia somehow skipped the final step where they get stamped with that tiny P. And just like that, a rare error coin was born. But let's talk money. The big bucks. The reason you're here. Why is this penny worth $3.2 million? Well, collectors go absolutely bonkers for error coins, especially ones that are nearly impossible to find. And let me tell you, finding a 1988 no-mint mark penny in top condition is like finding a unicorn playing the saxophone. Super rare. Let me share a quick story. A friend of mine, let's call him Dave, once found an old jar of pennies in his grandpa's attic. He was just about to dump them into a Coinstar machine when I stopped him and said, "Dude, let's check those first." We start digging, and guess what? Boom! He finds a weird-looking 1988 penny with no mint mark. He didn't believe me when I told him it could be worth a fortune. But after sending it to a professional grader, the results came back, and let's just say, Dave isn't driving his old Honda anymore. Now, before you run off to flip your couch cushions, let me give you some quick tips on what to look for. First, check the date. It has to be 1988. Second, no little letter under the year. Third, condition is everything. If your penny looks like it went through a garbage disposal, it won't be hitting the $1 million mark, but hey, it could still be worth a nice chunk of change. So, what's the lesson here? Always check your change, my friends. That old penny in your car's cup holder could be the key to early retirement. And if you love discovering hidden treasures like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more coin secrets and money-making tips coming your way. Now, go check those pennies, and I'll see you in the next one. 2003 Lincoln penny. But hold up. No mint mark. Could this be the one? The Holy Grail? The penny worth $3 million? Yeah, you heard that right. A single 2003 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is floating out there, and it could change your life. Let's talk about how to find one, why it's so valuable, and what you can do if you hit the jackpot. So, first things first, what even is a no-mint mark coin? Usually, pennies have a tiny letter under the date, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, P for Philadelphia. But sometimes, due to an error or an intentional decision, the mint forgets to stamp that letter. And in rare cases, that little oops turns into a massive payday. Now, you're probably thinking, wait, I've got a jar full of pennies at home. Should I start checking? Yes. Immediately. Because a rare 2003 no-mint Lincoln penny recently sold for a mind-blowing $3 million at auction. Why? Well, it's all about scarcity and demand. Collectors lose their minds over rare errors like this, and when something is one of a kind, the price skyrockets. That I remember the first time I heard about valuable pennies. I was at my grandpa's house, flipping through his old coin collection, and he told me, you never know what's sitting in your pocket. One penny could be worth more than your car. I laughed, but now, after seeing what some of these coins sell for, I'm taking him very seriously. He may have been onto something. So, how do you know if you've struck gold? Well, copper. Check your 2003 pennies under a magnifying glass. If there's no mint mark under the date, don't panic, but do get it checked by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. You'll want expert verification before you start celebrating, and if you do find one, well, my friend, you might be looking at the biggest payday of your life. Imagine telling your family, hey, I just made millions off a penny. Who wouldn't love that story? Before you go digging through every penny you've ever owned, make sure you subscribe for more tips on spotting rare and valuable coins. Who knows? The next coin we talk about could be sitting in your pocket, just waiting to make you rich. Don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button, and let's find some treasure together.